Hello there, this is Dahana, your English teacher. Today, I am going to tell you a famous and wonderful story based on Cinderella. I hope that you will enjoy it. But don't forget to read with me. Are you ready? Let's start. Cinderella's story. Once upon a time, there was a very beautiful girl named Cinderella. She was clever and kind, and she loved to tell jokes. Although they all lived in a big house, but she was very unhappy. Her father and mother had died, and Cinderella lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters. Cinderella's stepsisters were not as pretty as Cinderella, not as kind as Cinderella, and not as funny as Cinderella. Cinderella's stepmother wanted one of her daughters to marry a rich man, so they would no longer be poor. So she tried hard to make Cinderella miserable by ordering her to do all the chores. The stepsisters had beautiful dresses and shoes, but Cinderella's dress was made of old rags. The stepsisters slept in their comfortable beds in their bedrooms, but Cinderella slept on a straw bed on the kitchen floor. The animals were Cinderella's only friends. In the evening, she sat beside the fireplace and the kitchen and told jokes to the family of mice who lived in the hall. One day, while Cinderella was busy working, a letter arrived at the house. It was an invitation to the king's summer ball. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were very excited. The prince will be there. He's so handsome. He's so rich. He needs a wife. Cinderella's stepmother wanted one of her daughters to marry the prince, so they would no longer be poor. The stepsisters spent weeks preparing for the ball. They bought no dresses, no shoes, and no handbags. On the day of the ball, Cinderella helped them put on their dresses and do their hair. But Cinderella couldn't go to the ball, so she stayed home with the mice. Just then, there was a flash of light, and an old man appeared in a corner on the kitchen. Who are you? Stammered Cinderella. I am your fairy godmother, said the old woman. You are an orphan, and all orphans have a fairy godmother. Then Cinderella explained to her that she would love to go to the ball, but she doesn't have a dress. Stand still, said the fairy godmother. She waved her hand, and Cinderella's dirty clothes turned into a spectacular silver dress. Two beautiful glass shoes appeared on Cinderella's feet. Now go to the ball, said the fairy godmother. But you must be home by midnight. When the clock strikes 12, your dress will turn back into rags, and your carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. Have fun! The prince had just finished dancing with one of Cinderella's stepsisters when the room suddenly fell silent. Everybody turned to look as the most beautiful girl walked through the door. It was Cinderella, but nobody recognized her, not even her stepmother and stepsisters. The prince's mouth dropped open. He had never seen a woman as beautiful as Cinderella. He asked her to dance. They danced together all evening. The prince thought Cinderella was beautiful, but also kind, clever, and funny. She laughed at his jokes and he laughed at hers. Cinderella was having such a wonderful time that she didn't notice that it was so late. The clock began to chime midnight. Gong, gong, gong. Oh no! I have to leave, gasped Cinderella. Don't go! I don't even know your name, shouted the prince, but Cinderella was already gone. Cinderella fled from the palace so fast that she lost one of her glass shoes on the stairs. Cinderella's beautiful dress turned back into rags, and her golden carriage turned back into a pumpkin. The messenger visited hundreds of houses. At every house, women claimed that the glass shoe was theirs. But when they tried on the shoes, their feet were too big or too wide or too small. Finally, the messenger arrived at Cinderella's house. Cinderella's stepmother opened the door. They tried the shoe, but it was too small for one of them, and for the other one, it was too long. When Cinderella arrived in the dining room, she was wearing her usual rags, and her face was covered in dirt. She put her dirty foot into the glass shoe, and amazing! It wasn't too wide, it wasn't too long, it fit perfectly. In a quiet voice, she said, "It's my shoe." "Please come with me," said the messenger. And before Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters could stop them, the messenger hurried Cinderella out of the door and into a carriage. Cinderella was taken to the palace to meet the prince. The prince took Cinderella's hand. They were married the next spring and spent the rest of their lives laughing at each other's jokes. So, this is the lesson of life. Did you enjoy? Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share.